Okay, so we're gonna look at one of the most basic and effective attack options from top half guard. Really, again, when we're in half guard is a great place to be when you're on top, when you have head and shoulder control. That's really what separates whether the top half or bottom half is good, is control of the head and shoulders. If I'm on top and I establish good head control, I should be able to freely isolate and attack far side limb, okay? So, start in half guard. So again, what's going to dictate my ability to be able to settle in this position and take my time attacking, again, is going to be head control. We talk a lot about in class 2. I was originally taught this way, lock the hands together and pin. I don't want you to do that. What I want to see is one arm that goes under the head. We're going to grab the gi. Okay, so we have one arm effective head control. We pull the shoulder in and then we put our shoulder pressure on. Okay, that's the first step. So now we can settle in, good chest to chest pressure. I really don't have to worry as much about guard recovery right now when my partner's pinned flat on his back. Okay, so the next thing we're going to pay attention to is this inside elbow. This inside elbow is always going to be my biggest threat as far as my opponent being able to create space, both inside control and half guard. So once we get to position, we've got good chest to chest pressure, so I can go ahead and release this head control arm momentarily because I already have good chest to chest pressure. I'm going to find his wrist, bring my knee through the inside, and we're going to staple. Okay, I want my shin right in the elbow. And of course, since I've already pinned and isolated the elbow now, the wrist lock is always here, gooseneck wrist lock. But the important concept here is once I've stapled that arm, I don't have to worry about it framing on my hip, and as soon as we release that, we're going to come directly over, and my elbow is going to position on the opposite side of the neck. So now we've created a 3-on-1 situation. I have 2 hands, and I have my head, he has 1 arm. Okay, that's a fight that we want. So, real simple, once I can bring that hand through, we're going to glue that hand to the ground. Again, like he's got a wristwatch on, I'm putting his wristwatch on the ground. The back of the hand must stay on the ground for a good key lock. And again, we can call this key lock, Americana, hammer lock, figure 4, it's got a lot of names. Second hand slides through, okay? So to get tension right away, I'm going to motorcycle grip with my left hand, like we're revving the throttle of a motorcycle. And I'm going to motorcycle grip with my right hand as well, okay? So what I don't want to see is don't just lift the elbow here. What we're going to do is we're going to drag the elbow down to his body, okay? Keeping the back of the hand on the ground the whole time. Now, as I lift the elbow, I'm going to continue dragging the wrist under his body until we get a tap, especially with the more flexible people. If he starts straight arming out of this, we immediately move into our straight arm. So notice I'm chest to chest right now. If I'm going to go to straight arm, I'm going to slide out from chest to chest to shoulder. We treat a straight arm lock exactly like a rear naked choke. Okay, that elbow, his arm is directly in the crook of my elbow, so we have a good 3 to 4 inches for lever. Okay, hand on the bicep, other hand is on the wrist. Okay, and really, the thumb doesn't have to be pointing straight up. All that I have to do is control it long enough to apply pressure towards the pinky. That way, that way, that way, it really doesn't matter, as long as that arm lock. And every good arm submission has 2 directional force. So as I'm pushing down on the wrist, I'm also pulling up on this arm, okay? So pressure is going in both directions at the same time. Okay, slide back this way just a little bit. We'll do it one more time. Okay, step number 1, we establish a good pin, okay? Reach for the gi, pull in. I keep my right hand free the whole time. Because a lot of times if I want to, I'm going to frame on the hip, or I'm going to start looking for this arm, or we can start attacking the neck. But once I have good chest to chest pressure, we can release, so we can staple and release, or eliminate the inside arm threat. Knee comes through, we're going to staple, so it's starting to set up our crucifix. As soon as I release that, elbow comes directly over, so I've got one knee on the right side of his head, and I've got my elbow on the left side of his head, so his head's pinned. Hand's going to roll through, so we can pin the wrist to the ground, get our second grip. Grab his wrist, grab my wrist. Drag it, drag it, drag it. After we motorcycle grip, then we lift and we finish, okay? If you start straight arming out of it, we're going to right out. Adjust, okay, in the crook of my elbow, so I've got a lot of leverage space. Okay, and a lot of times when I'm stretched out this far too, they're going to start opening their half guard because he doesn't have much of my leg left. And if he does, then we simply just escape our leg out anyways and just keep doing what we're doing. Okay, so that is the half guard crucifix into our key lock and our straight arm lock. And trust me, these are subs you very much want to understand very well for your side control game and your half guard game. Okay, let's go practice.